I can't see the TV. minutes, 7 minutes. What's happening? You can hear me? Cool. Okay. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Yep. You hear me? Testing, testing. Test, 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 test.
Can you hear me?
Test. Test. I can hear you.
Okay. Yo, yo, yo.
What's happening? What's happening? Look at these charts.
I hear music, PJ, but I can't hear him. Say something, Robbie?
Yep. Yep. Testing.
Okay, I hear him.
Testing. Yep. You hear? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You, Mr. Rhino.
Put up these charts.
It's all about the charts, dude.
Somewhat.
Oh, we're jumping right in? All right. No, we don't have to. All right. All right. Yo, Robbie.
Yep. Yep.
We're about to start the show. We're going to mute you for now.
Cool.
I'm going to just do the intro, run through a couple slides of like some charts, some Bitcoin and altcoins, and then I'm going to jump
Cool.
into the meme coins. Once I get the terp.
Cool. Sounds good. Send me the YouTube link, right? You're gonna put it to YouTube? I'll watch it on YouTube through on my phone, and that way I know I'm prepared like this for when the part comes up. If not, it's fine. I can listen in from the Zoom call. That's fine. Let's do it. That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up. Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her era lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that in a white boat surrounded by blue? I want one, but I gotta cop two. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck
Started
is the
off with
blockchain.
a bit. Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1. Hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream. Now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems. Topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo.
What up, everybody? What is happening? Welcome to another episode of Web3 Weekly Alpha. This is episode 13. It's your host, Serpunk, and we are going to be diving in everything that happened in this week in Web3. We're talking about crypto. We're talking about NFTs. Not that many large sales, but we'll cover what has happened. And we also are doing something new. We're going to bring in a special guest during the meme coin segment, as that sector is definitely heating up right now. We're going to jump into it. So join me in jumping into the wonderful world of Web3. We always start off with the charts, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum, because those are the juggernauts currently. We put them on the weekly chart this week. This is Bitcoin. We know Bitcoin, we've been talking about this last several weeks. It's just kind of been going sideways, as you can see here. Not too much going on at that 30K level. Kind of keeps hitting there. We're close to this sort of more significant resistance level here. So I'm not sure how much more we're gonna go past that based on conditions, you know. But again, the chart's just kind of holding up. So just watching that action there. You know what's interesting is that jeez, my bad. What's interesting is that when the banks were failing originally a couple weeks ago, it was right as this Bitcoin move was breaking down here. And then just within the next week, we ramped up aggressively. And this week, we had some more regional banks plummeting. As you can see here, shout out to Kobayashi letter where he says regional bank stocks are plunging, with multiple stocks down 20% in a matter of minutes. Pac West, Western Alliance, Metropolitan were all down, 25 to 30%. All of them were getting halted. Here's a beautiful visual from Mike. Shout out to Mike on Twitter who created this, where he puts a great illustration together of seeing the size of banks that are failing right now, right? So we know Signature Bank failed, Silicon Valley Bank, and First Republic. It's already dwarfing everything that's happened over the years and in 2008. But last time that was happening, we had a big move on Bitcoin. And this time, there's not that same response. I'm not sure how to read into that, or if I'm reading too much into that, but it's definitely something that I'm keeping an eye on as to why we didn't get that same reaction this time around. Ethereum continues to reject that $2,000 mark, as it's pretty heavy resistance here. We tried to get above it here. It rejected immediately and pretty hard. Not on a ton of volume, but still, we're kind of rejecting it again this week. That's what we're looking like right now. So I'm not too optimistic that we're going to be ripping through 2K right away. But maybe we just go sideways. Not really sure, but we are at this critical resistance, and this is the line in the sand, in my opinion. The ETH Foundation did sell some Ethereum this week, where you can see here that they sold around 15,200 Ethereum. And, it was only about $30 million, so it's not that significant. But what's interesting is that they've been pretty good at selling at higher prices, closer to tops. So I don't know who's trading for them, but they're doing a pretty good job. Not sure how much to read into that, but. And this is the daily on Ethereum. You can see the rejections on 2K a little bit more clear here. this was a pretty mean fail on the breakout here recently. All right, we're going to jump into a couple alts, but again, nothing is really looking too bullish out there, really, in any asset. You look at stocks, you look at crypto, NFTs, besides Pepe and a couple shit coins that are moving in, there's not too much to be getting excited about. This is Arbitrum, the largest L2 on Ethereum, that is breaking support here. Kind of looks like a short setup to me. But just to illustrate that there's some breakdowns going on here in altcoins. This was a coin that was mooning off of the AI narrative, kind of breaking down. Magic, which is Treasure DAO, one of the biggest ecosystems on Arbitrum, breaking down here as well. So just nothing too exciting happening in that space. But where it is heated up is shitcoins. It is definitely shitcoin season. How long is it going to last? I don't know. We're going to see, but we know that Pepe is currently leading that sector. As you can see, it's gone absolutely wild. We talked about it actually on the show when it was on its third day after being released, and it's gone up pretty significant after that. None of this is financial advice. I'm just kind of illustrating what's happening in the space in real time as we do the show. But this one definitely felt like it's part of the culture, and it had a chance to go. And the community is really rallying behind this. Is the move exhausted? Not sure, right? We had some pretty heavy volume come in, huge bar. Usually when you start to see big, large moves in one day like that, it seems like we're getting more closer to, not the top, but like it's no longer that early price action that we were getting before. So just be careful out there. Make sure you're taking your profits. I did get the Phil Whalen top signal, so it is a joke, but at the same time, it's not. My friend Phil somehow figures out how to text me every time he sees something on the news or when it's already out by the media. So he sent me this link from Yahoo Finance where they say missed Pepe coin and Turbo SpongeBob tokens coming out. And again, like I said, he's just notorious for calling tops. So keep in mind that Phil is on it, so might be late. If you have banked, there's a lot of people I've seen on the Twitter timeline that have changed their lives financially with that trade. Congrats to everybody who's in. But make sure you end up like this Pepe, where you take some profits and you realize that big change financially in your life, and you don't want to just get caught round tripping if that ends up happening. Again, this is just a meme coin. I know we all love Pepe, and I want it to win as well. Frogs over dogs all day, but nothing goes straight up, and we're not even in a bull market right now, so I'm not sure this is the perfect environment for everything to go crazy, but maybe the Pepe community is large enough to fight through that. I'm not sure, but this is some cool information from Nansen, where at the time we were at 54,000 holders in the Pepe coin. We're now at like 80 or 90,000, closer to the $100,000 mark. But when you compare this to something like SHIB has 1.3 million holders. Can Pepe get there? I don't know. How quickly can they get there? I don't know either, but it's a good illustration of how much bigger SHIB Inu is than Pepe, even though I think Pepe has done more for the culture than SHIB. So I think eventually it could have more legs, but again, when we looked at SHIB and Doge on a long-term chart, you'll notice that they had their initial run-ups during bull markets in crypto, and then they were pretty much stagnant and flat and sideways for years sometimes, and they didn't have their moves until new bull markets came into play. So I kind of think Pepe will do something similar. That's just what it takes to get that large demand that really spikes prices. A couple stories of people who are well known in the space that have made some significant money from Pepe and put it to good use. Because I know some people have been fudding the shit coins, fudding Pepe, saying if you're making money off Pepe or if you're following it, please don't follow me. I don't condone that, but I think you should be able to do whatever you want. It's a decentralized blockchain. But K Money says, thanks to taking some profits on Pepe today, he bought his sister a car. Fuck Render said, He's using some of the profits to fund an art gallery that he's opening and supporting artists in a project that he's bringing to life. And G-Funk said he's going to use some of that money to buy a Grail ringer, which is sort of considered a Grail generative art project. That's you love to hear that kind of thing. You are seeing the listings finally for Pepe on the centralized exchanges, the largest ones, right? So Binance, as you can see here, has listed Pepe, KuCoin, and then you saw the Winklevoss twins tweet about it, and that probably means it's coming to Gemini as well. So is that going to be your exit liquidity once it's now listed on the Zexes? Maybe. I don't know. But again, it's usually a good time to sell into liquidity. Like this is definitely a liquidity event. And you already know, Beeple loves to make art when things are already being talked about and all over the place. And here he's making art about Pepe. And what's cool is they're already bringing some utility to Pepe, where Vince Van Doe here, who's a Pepe connoisseur, says that this is for this Pepe Trillionaire drop, this is the first of many pawn shop drops which will accept Pepe as a payment option and will be added as a default option for artists. So this is kind of where we are in the cycle, right? Pepe hits a 1 billion market cap after getting listed on Binance. People are getting excited about it. Goblin Town, one of the popular NFT projects, says they're going to allowing traders to receive a 50% discount on their next mint if they use the popular meme coin Pepe. So it's been a frenzy around the Pepe coin. Somebody did a look into the Pepe coin to see if there was any red flags or not. I wanted to just run through that real quick. Asking GBT with a plugin, and it says overall the primary red flags are the ability for the contract owner to blacklist addresses and enforce transfer restrictions. Users should be aware of these features and consider their implications before interacting with the contract. Additionally, users should perform their own due diligence, check on the team, community, all that stuff. But those are the red flags that the contract owner has that sort of power. Okay, so some of that Pepe hype spilled over into Matt Fury's Pepe NFTs, who we all know. Matt Fury is the original creator of Pepe. And when I tweeted about it here, I didn't really expect that to happen for probably a couple of weeks. But overnight, this Pepe that was airdropped to holders of this Pepe, which this was the original open edition mint. You can see here it was airdropped to these holders. It was before that tweet. It was at 0.8 ETH, right kind of in the beginning of the Pepe hype. The very next day, it moved up to 5 ETH. So, as you can see here, tremendous jump. Probably one of the best plays out there in NFTs and in general. And really just that Pepe hype spilling over into NFTs as more and more people learn about Pepe via the coin. So, shout out to Matt Fury and shout out to the great play here. So I think the Pepe NFTs are going to be an interesting play, especially if Pepe token continues to power off. And he's got several Pepe NFTs, so go ahead and check the collection. These are all the open edition Pepes out there. Some of them are cheap, some of them are high in supply. The reason this one really went running was because it was one of the ones that had the lesser supply, which was only 103 of them. So that's probably a good reason for that. Let's jump into the other shitcoin that has really had the strongest narrative and taken off, and people on Twitter are running away with that. So, Turbo. This is the chart. It's gone up pretty well over the last couple of days. This is the one that I played. I'm no longer in it, but the community is really buying into the artist who created this shitcoin, Mankind, and his story that he shared his YouTube video online. So basically the narrative is that he gave ChatGPT for a budget of $69 and asked it to make the next great meme coin. All right, so let's jump into who created the Turbo shitcoin and the artist behind the story. So His name is Reet Mankind. He's been a digital artist for years. He's been a crypto digital artist. And on April 23rd, as you can see here, he just posted on Twitter and said, I gave ChatGPT for a budget of $69 and asked it to make the next great meme coin. And he says, I will follow all the instructions it gives me and document the entire process. And then he's post screenshots from what ChatGPT told him to do. And he followed through. He ran into some pitfalls, but he rallied with the community's help. And he deployed a shitcoin. He deployed a shitcoin by himself, all with the help of AI, right? And the community rallied behind it. They loved his story. So he was a struggling artist, as nobody is really buying digital art right now. Nobody's really buying NFTs right now. I'm going to jump into a bunch of that exciting data here in a minute. But so he thought, I'm going to just continue to explore AI and try something new. And he didn't really expect it to get this big, but it already has over a $20 million market cap. Manifold has added it as a payment option for open editions. And this is also an open edition for the turbo art that was suggested by ChatGPT to give to Midjourney, right? So all that's been done by AI, the website, the art, the code, all that stuff. And even Beeple made this turbo penis art reflecting the popularity for the turbo coin recently. And, you know, people, you know, have been creating the memes and just shilling their bags and really supporting the turbo token, right? I know people have their own interests, but I think that was one of the stronger narratives out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring on a special guest, the founder of Fruity Labs, but also one of my friends in the Web3 space who has been trading the shitcoins. And we're going to get a third perspective on what he's been seeing, how he's been trading it, and how it's kind of been what's been the community's response to these shitcoins. So, Robbie, can you hear me?
What's happening? You hear me?
Loud and clear, man. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We just want to hear from somebody else who's knee deep in the game. I know you've been in Web3 for a minute, but just tell us what got you excited about Turbo? When did you hear about it, and what's your whole feel about the shitcoin season right now?
Yeah, so I think the narrative behind Turbo specifically describes where we were at in the market. We had an artist that's struggling to make sales, struggling to get by, and turned to AI to assist him with creating what was on the something on the back end of a trend in what was just starting in Turbo, the shitcoin. So that being the provider and sort of a new possibility that has been done. It kind of correlates between two narratives, like AI and art. We got the artist perspective. We got artists in the space supporting this man and this project. And I think that's what allowed it to take off so aggressively behind something like Pepe. It's not really a meme token. I don't really see a meme behind Turbo, other than the fact of it being created by AI and $69 and whatever. Like there's some, remnants there, but not too much. So I just think the greatest narrative behind it is it being, or it represents the value of what AI can do in the space and where we are in a market.
I see. Okay. So have you been a part of the coin? Have you bought in? What do you think we are
I bought
in the
in pretty early. I bought in at under 4 million market cap. So I'm pretty bullish on in the token itself, just because I don't think the narrative is complete. I don't think it's affected as many people as I think it could impact. I know Pepe would be the primary leader in this whole thing, and I do think it's a stronger meme than Doge or SHIB, especially SHIB. So I feel like there's more room for growth with Pepe specifically, and then this being a coin that I think is running alongside of it, and sort of complements its narrative and what we're experiencing in the space is why I'm bullish on it. I heard it early on in a group chat, I don't think anyone got in that group chat was in on the pre-sale. I know that there's some concerns for um, the distribution of the token. I know 90% was given on pre-sale, and a lot of people were flooding it early on because 60% of the supply was held by 50 wallets.
Wow.
But I think like any token that struggled early on with distribution, I think as time goes on and hopefully we get listed on some central exchanges this week, that it's fixed sort of fix itself and that's sort of people take profits here and there. So I don't see that much as an issue as other people do.
Okay. Now let me ask you. There's been a lot of controversy around the shitcoins, especially on the timeline. Some people are like, you know, Ethereum's becoming a casino. Like it's all shitcoins. We're the builders. What's your perspective on that?
I don't think there's a way to spin this where you say, hey, this is all great for the space. This makes crypto look like real money. This isn't Ponzi. Like that only this kind of stuff only enforces those bad narratives on this kind of thing. But if we look at anything with value, especially let's just look at our fundamental uh, for our world reserve currency, dollar. It's built on belief. So it's a sophisticated Ponzi scheme as well. So are banks, and that's showing itself with the bank collapse and liquidity crisis that's occurring right now in our nation. So like I don't I think people need to start realizing now that narrative and memes, especially, which are like drivers of narrative and drivers of culture, have true intrinsic value, and it's up to the people to decide where value exists. So that's why I think something like Pepe and Turbo is primed right now for this next wave or a new trend that's just beginning to emerge. I know that you're more on the side of like, hey, this is probably just a meta that's passing by, but I've never seen the space more excited. I've never seen people really get behind this and find identity in this or impact that many lives so quickly since something like Bored Ape Yacht Club. I know there's mania involved in this, but I truly believe in narrative and I believe in the power of memes. So I'm in a bullish case for this whole thing. Whether that's terrible or not, fine. But I know Pepe will probably be the tide that lifts all boats.
I agree. I agree. I am more on the bearish side. Um, just more broadly, I think that people are not as risk on. It's kind of a different environment. But I do think long term, I think Pepe can have legs because of the things that you said. So,
It is, yeah, it's a different environment. We're not in a bull run, but we're in a space where even our safety nets, like bank stocks, are collapsing. So people are already upset with with our current system, and maybe they're going to look to speculate on the most extreme speculative assets and sort of retaliation to what's been going on with our traditional finance. So
yeah,
that's my case, and we'll see how it goes. I think this week is an important week. I think I see that these next 1 week or 2 weeks as the direction we start to head in and where we see this trend going.
definitely, definitely, man. I think you could see some bad things about it, but there's also some good things. You know, people have changed their life financially. An artist has been able to sell some of his art due to the attention that he's gained from this. So there's always both sides. So we appreciate hearing your side of the story.
Thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate you.
Mr. Cruz is bullish, so we'll have to recap on this later. Thanks for coming on,
Sounds
man.
good. Check out Fruity Labs.
Fruity Labs. All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Good to hear a different perspective on the whole shitcoin and meme season right now. But let's continue to move on with the show here. Shout out to Mando, where he says smooth brain investments. GameStop in 2021, Dogecoin in 2021, Bored Ape Yacht Club in 2022, and Pepe this year. Never underestimate them. Never underestimate the memes. Digital communities with thousands and sometimes millions of people, as we've learned that from Wall Street Bets and GameStop and AMC, right? I think nobody really knows what's going to happen here, right? People like Robbie think Pepe's extremely strong and popular online, and I do as well. I worry more about timing, whether right now it's just going to continue to just blow past in this kind of environment. I'm a little bit skeptical on that. 2021, 2022 were very different years, right? The government was printing money. They were giving stimulus checks. We were locked up from some of that period. We were at like zero interest rates. It was a different environment compared to now. You know, some people are saying we're heading into a recession now. Rates are at 5%. There is no bull market anywhere, really. So I don't think we have the market wave kind of supporting us as we did before. But again, if the community is strong enough, it might not even matter. So shout out to Hall Press, where he says, Pepe will come and go, as Dogecoin has. Another meme will eventually replace it. This is why, for the long term, you own the casino, not currently the shiny object. For short-term multiples, memes are unbeatable. But for the long term, stack the house, which is Ethereum, right? I think that's good advice. Thank you, Hall Press. And then also Dada, where he's the founder of Forgotten Ruins. Also some good advice. Meme coins typically mark the local top. But I don't think the market has come out of a bear. This is more of a boredom-induced act of desperation. I tend to lean more in this direction, where we're in a bear market. We've been in a bear market. It's been more sideways than down recently. But that doesn't mean that we're just ramping back to all-time highs. And when you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and you look at altcoins, some of the better fundamental coins, they're not doing anything. It's really all these shit coins. That's it. So to me, and the NFTs are dead, and nobody's playing that, especially because the Blur kind of is pushing people away from it because they don't want to deal with the Blur game right now, the selling back and forth between the Blur farmers. So it looks like to me they're just kind of finding anything that they can pump up in this kind of environment that's very difficult, and that seems to be the shitcoins right now, mainly Pepe, Turbo, and a few others. And Sep Saw says, I hope Turbo's the next Pepe. I did too, as I played Turbo. I think learning from a couple of different cycles that I've been through, I think that it has a chance to. But this happens only once or twice in the cycle, right? Because any market opportunity gets exploited. And when it becomes too predictable, then it no longer works. So if Pepe worked, and then you have Turbo that did pretty well, and a couple others, it's not going to continue to be that easy, right? Some people are going to get wrecked thinking that the next one is the next Pepe. So there's a lot to go over with markets this week, and we're going to jump in with NFT charts. Bored Ape Yacht Club is at an inflection point here. I'm not saying I'm bearish. I'm not saying I'm bullish. But objectively looking at the chart, the 50 ETH mark has been important in the past. And I think if we break below this level, it's potential that we can accelerate on the downside. If we hold up here, it'd be different. But I'm eyeing this level right here. Same thing with the Mu and Apes. As you can see with Mu and Apes, it's pretty clear that this 10 ETH-ish mark has been support in the back. Has been support in history, and are we going to hold? Are we going to break down? I don't know. But line in the sand, in my opinion. Same thing with Azuki. Azuki's been one of the ones that are showing strength in this recent cycle, as we've talked about many times, but it keeps getting rejected at this 15 ETH mark. But it's holding up sideways. But again, if Bored Ape goes, we know it's the leader. So it could really impact prices across the board. Beans, which is in the Azuki ecosystem, is kind of just holding up in support area, hasn't picked the direction. Captains is sort of look like it got extended and it's heading back down. Not the best price action you want to see here. Same thing with potatoes. Potatoes is looking like a failed breakout. Tried to break out, failed that breakdown. Looks like we're going lower here, unless this bar closes differently. But so far, it's a bit worrisome. Killer Bears. As you can see with Killer Bears, this is what could happen when you rip through support. And that's why it can get risky at those levels, right? I'm not saying Bored Ape Yacht Club is going to do this. What I'm saying is when it breaks key levels, it could move aggressively and rapidly. And this is an example of that with Killer Bears. when it broke that 2.5 ETH support area. This is a little bit more clear of a picture of that on the daily chart. And as you can see, just within a couple days, you were down, almost, over an ETH. So you never know. Same thing with Kampai Pandas. Kampai Pandas had that huge move, pulled back, and now it's breaking down support. Support is turned into resistance, as you can see here, and it's getting below that 1 ETH mark. So you got to watch out there. Pepin has been down only. It broke support 2 weeks ago, and it's been down only since then. We know that the reveal is happening this week, as Jack Butcher has been leaking it nonstop on Twitter. But it doesn't seem like the market seems to care too much. Pudgy Penguins is another like Azuki where it's been relatively strong in a recent cycle, and it's holding its critical support area of 4 ETH. But again, below that is where it gets concerning. But for now, it's continuing to show that relative strength that it's shown up until this point. CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks have been down only once that... The CryptoPunks chart looks funky prior to the other ones we've shown because they changed it to wrapped CryptoPunks, so now it's a newer chart. We don't have... I wish we could still view it all on one chart. But nonetheless, it broke that support area of 65, 70-ish. That was the critical spot, and then it's just been down only. I remember from the other chart that the significant support is at around 40 ETH. It tried to bounce. It's getting rejected. Pretty weak bounce. So let's see when CryptoPunks is gonna bottom out, if we're gonna get to that actual support of 40 ETH. DGods is another one that's showing relative strength still. We had that euphoria during the migration where we talked about it, right? Where it wasn't ideal to be buying up there, where it's a mass liquidity event and everybody's talking about it. You want it. If you really wanted to get into things, you wait until people forget about it and move on to something else. But DGods is looking okay for now. Again, if the whole market takes a dip, it probably will follow as well. But it's holding up relative to a lot of these other projects. The only project somehow bucking the trend is Milady, and it's going absolutely parabolic. It broke out, and it's just been up only since, up to 4 ETH. We talked about it last week. They said that Miladies are behind Pepe Coin. It seems to be right, because where are they getting all this money? They're probably dumping a bunch of Pepe profit and buying back into the project. Who knows? I don't know. I don't have insider information, but something is happening here because it's the only chart that looks like this, as you can notice here. Pixelmon was showing some relative strength. It rejected at 1 ETH, and it's on its way back down. Again, nothing's been able to gain traction during this blur stuff. And just, we're down to like 5,000 active addresses trading NFTs. There's just nobody doing it. Artifact, Moonbirds, Doodles, they pretty much all look the same. They've been down only. They tried to bounce a little bit on a relief rally recently. It's not too impressive so far. So that's the NFT market. Keep an eye out to see which one of those end up holding those levels. There's a ton of market stuff to go over this week. I want to make sure we take a look at it all and have a clear picture. All right, so shout out to C Launch, where they said they wrote a thread on Jared from Subway.eth, which he is a MEV bot that has been doing a ton of trading lately, and he's been having a huge impact. Gas on Ethereum is at a 6-month high, and one of the main causes is this MEV sandwich bot, Jared from Subway. Pretty funny meme right there, right? But Jared has also paid the highest gas fees on ETH within the last month. So he actually represents 8% of the total gas usage on the entire Ethereum network. So, and that's because of the shitcoins. The MEV bots come out when a lot of the trading happens, and that raises gas fees even more. So that's not helpful for NFTs specifically, because to buy an NFT, the gas transaction is just too high. But shout out to Sam, where he illustrates here that yesterday, May 1st, MetaMask saw the highest number of daily in-app swaps since the end of 2021. So there's obviously, shitcoin season is really up there right now, comparable to other seasons. As you can see, we've been pretty low for a while. We've hit these levels finally. I don't know how to look at this, whether it's another bull market starting or it's the Pico top of shitcoin season, and that was just a short meta. Again, I'm more bearish on the entire environment, so I'd lead more towards more of a short-term meta, but nobody really knows what's going to happen here. Shout out to NFT Statistics, where he illustrates here so well that gas prices on Blur, which is the top NFT marketplace in the world, by the hour is higher than it's been in a while. And as you can see here, it's already hitting 0.06 ETH. It illustrates it here where it's $72 in gas to buy one NFT. Nobody wants to buy cartoon animals on the internet when they have to spend $72 and then they don't know if a Blur farmer is going to rip the floor from under them with them just selling their batch in the next day or so. So these are some of the biggest concerns for NFTs right now. Shitcoin season has a lot to do with it. Average gas per NFT trade yesterday got up to 0.02 on Blur. And this is just another chart here where it illustrates the average gas per trade. It's not good. Shout out to Nikolai, where he runs Deep Value for NFTs. And he says for this week that not a lot of high floor premium sales in the collections that they track over the past week have had a lot of sales in general, but not really high premium ones either. The guys have been the most notable for Grail sales, excluding the skulls, which talked about that last week with Sam Spratt's Council of Lucci sales that have been off the chain lately. But as you can see here, there's just not a lot of big sales. You know, we're used to a lot of bigger sales and Grails in different projects. It's been very slow, very slow. Shout out to Icebergy, where he says NFT is not even in the 7-day leaderboards. During the Pico top of the NFTs, OpenSea lived at the top of the burn leaderboard. We're not even in the top 7 right now. As you can see, it's Uniswap. It's shitcoin season for the time being. MetaMask, they also is what retail uses to swap because it's just easy, even though it's much more expensive. I highly recommend swapping on Uniswap. But it goes to show you where we're at in this cycle. And shout out to Mando, where he says there's 85,000 Pepe holders, and there's only 5,000 active daily NFT traders. As you can see here, it's just been absolutely down only. And I'm seeing constant posts on Twitter of people dumping their NFTs and putting all that money directly into Pepe, as you can see from their transaction history on EtherScan. And it's just mind-blowing. Somebody dumped $1 million worth of Bored Apes today and put it all into Pepe. So I think you're starting to see some FOMO where people are like, let me get out of NFTs and let's buy these shitcoins. But I could be wrong. We could be pulling a whole bull market in shitcoins like Robbie says. So it's just good to hear all perspective. And this continues to happen in NFT land, which is another thing that's discouraging long-term buyers, where he says, well, Cyrus illustrates here that 248 doodles were dumped onto one bidder of 694 ETH. And he just illustrates that somebody's going to wake up of having 1.3 million worth of doodles in their wallet. And NFT Statistics says that this is the same farmer who had bought 54 doodles and is now up to a total of 341 of them. And he dumped 40 on Punk's OTC yesterday before buying them back cheaper. So this game is continuously going on, and it's again keeping true buyers and true activity away from the NFT market right now. Shout out to Blockworks, where they say Bitcoin sets new record for daily transactions. You love to see it. Avi, here's the chart form of it. Transaction on the Bitcoin network, you see it broken out to an all-time high. And he says because there's a real reason to be on Bitcoin now, and that's ordinals, which we've talked about ordinals extensively in previous shows. And then Leonidas says, 3 months ago, the ordinals market consisted of a bunch of spreadsheets and OTC Discord channels. Today, the ordinals marketplace did more volume than OpenSea. Don't sleep on Bitcoin. OpenSea is relatively dead, and also Blur is where most of the volume is now. But nonetheless, still pretty big milestone here, I think, for Bitcoin. Shout out to Moon, where he says people are getting priced out of Ethereum, even just to be able to trade shitcoins and NFTs. It's just becoming too expensive. So people are moving over to Sol, where things are much, much cheaper. Sol takes lead for most daily active addresses. As you can see here, Sol is the green line. It surpassed Bitcoin in daily active addresses for the first time in 4 months. So last time was here. So, you know, I think as this continues and people deal with the gas prices, they'll continue to find different alternatives and different chains, whether that's L2s or if it's Solana, will take some of those new users or users who can't or are fed up with the gas fees. Huge news from Blur this week, where I think it's made a massive impact, and an impact that will probably change NFTs forever, is their new peer-to-peer perpetual lending protocol called Blend. And it enables 10x higher yield opportunities than current DeFi protocols and unlocks greater liquidity for NFTs. Let's jump in a little bit more of what's going on here. Blend is launching with 3 collections at 3 different price points to start. Punks, Azukis, and somehow Milady. You would think they'd be like apes or something more well-known, but they chose Milady. Buy now, pay later. So the first big change and new offering that they're providing is buy now, pay later. On the flip side, if you want a crypto punk, you can now use buy now, pay later to buy a punk for 8 ETH up front, and the rest is borrowed. So as you can see here, prior to this protocol being released, you had to pay the CryptoPunk in full, right? So right now their floor, let's say, is at 50 ETH. You would have to buy that, put the full 50 ETH up for to own it. Now with buy now, pay later, you only put 8 ETH down. It's yours, and you make the payments, and it's all peer-to-peer. Same thing with Azuki and Milady. Cyrus, there's no better person to listen to on this topic, as he's lended tons and tons, more than anybody that I've seen on Twitter. So he says, now lenders can give peer-to-peer loans and exit the position at any time by triggering a refinancing auction. So a Dutch auction is triggered, and it starts from 0% interest rate and progressively heads towards 1,000 interest to try to entice other lenders to take over the loan. If a new lender steps in, they pay off the initial lender and take over the loan at the interest rate that the Dutch auction ended at, as you can see here. So once it's triggered, it starts to rise until a new lender comes in and accepts the loan. But if no lender steps in and the borrower doesn't pay off the end of the 30-hour auction, then the original lender can claim the collateral. So if the collateral is CryptoPunks, then they would own the CryptoPunk if nobody stepped in to take that loan on as a lender. How does this impact the market? I'd rather Cyrus say, as he has much more experience in NFT lending than I do, but he says, but the cascades will likely get ugly. The incentives are bound to draw in many first-time lenders who give dangerously high lock total values and won't realize it until the prices take a turn. Hopefully I'm wrong, and our new lending friends lend responsibly. We know crypto degens are not responsible, so that's an optimistic view. But he was right about Blur when it was released, and he pretty much had the exact same words to say about that, and we went much further down after that. Is this a reoccurrence, and are we going to see another session of that initial statement from Cyrus? I don't know, but keep that in mind. And he does remind us why, and one of the reasons that people are utilizing Blend aggressively is because, of course, Blur is incentivizing it. So yeah, you get points while your offer is up, just like bidding points on the Blur platform. Not forgetting the loan accepted. It's for putting an offer out for the loan. And shout out to Tyler D, where he states that lending on NFTs that you'd be comfortable buying at that price is the play right now. I think he's right, because when you lend, you're getting the interest rate, right? Which you're seeing 0% interest rate loans right now, which is crazy. We're going to jump into that. But if you manage to get a loan for an NFT that you value, you wouldn't mind owning, and you'll get the interest rate in the meantime. But worst comes to worst, you wouldn't actually mind holding that, like an option trade in equities, then you kind of get the best of both worlds there. The interest rate, and then you end up owning the asset at a price you don't mind holding it at. That could be a way to play this right now. Shout out to Tyler D on that. Tyler D again, where he illustrates that NFT degens are actively embracing the new blend buy now, pay later. There's been 157 Azukis bought via this program, 211 Miladies, and 37 wrapped punks. And just kind of gauging this to see where this is going. Shout out to NFT Statistics, where he says, a crazy new first. A loan where someone got paid to buy the NFT. A lender offered 3.4 ETH on a Milady. The floor went down to 3.36 ETH. A buyer took the 3.4 ETH, spent it on the Milady for 3.36, and made the ETH in pretty much a free call option. So some wild things happening out there. The Blur incentives are so strong that people are willing to pay and take zero interest loans, which when that ends, how long can it continue? I know Blur incentives are going to go on for a while, but are they always going to be this high? That's the worry here. And a great illustration here by Santiago, where he says, fascinating to see the average rates on loans issued on the Blend lending protocol. CryptoPunks, arguably the most pristine collateral among the 3 top collections so far, have the lowest rate, 28%, followed by Milady's. So I think, and I said here, Serpunk is a really handsome dude in person if you've never seen him. Rates will eventually be a good way to tell how bullish market participants are on specific NFTs based on loan average rates. This is a new indicator that I think people will be watching, because the lower the APR, the more bullish the market is on that asset. That's just kind of basic risk ratios, right? If it's a riskier asset, it should be a higher interest rate. If it's a more safer asset, it'll be a lower interest rate. So you can see here, CryptoPunks, the market considers it a much safer asset than Azuki, which is the orange. So this is something to be paying attention to in the future, as I think lending continues to be a big part of NFTs. And Blur, there's already been NFT lending going on for a while, but Blur changes the game because there's such a big platform that now more people will probably be more inclined to lend and borrow because they're already on the platform. Instead of having to go to BendDAO and Paraspace and have to try something new, it's all right then and there. And on top of that, they're the only one who are providing rewards at the rate that they are. I know some others are introducing it, but Blur, it's ready to go. And it's Blend has successfully flipped previous buy now, pay later leaders in the space, like BendDAO and such, with doing more volume than both of them at 14.3 thousand ETH so far. So they're already taking over that market, like they took over OpenSea's market of regular NFT trading. That was a lot of market stuff, but there's a lot of changes happening that we needed to cover. There's not that many large sales, as you could see that there was not much going on in NFTs right now due to several factors that we covered. But we did have an X copy sell, which sold for $359,000, 196 ETH, as you can see here. X copy, legendary crypto artist. Congrats to him. Deep NFT value. Shout out to him where he illustrates that this DeGod was sold for 70 ETH, $129,000. I believe this is the highest DeGod sales ever. And I feel like I've been saying that for the last several weeks. It's always bullish when whales are buying grails in an NFT project. And even though it's a bear market, we're still seeing this in the DeGods community. And Rhett, the founder of the Turbo shitcoin, the digital artist, he has been able to bring attention to his art and sell some pieces because of the Turbo popularity. So congrats to him. I know he's had some trouble selling some art during this time, and I know a lot of artists has, but he's found a very unique way to be able to sell his art and do something unique. So congrats to him. That's all we got for sales. Let's jump into new mints happening. Jack Butcher. So we talked about it last week where they will be updating metadata R on EuroPepin if the community decides, if it reaches that 200% consensus or not. And it looks like all of these, as you can see here, have. They're all above 200, so that metadata should be happening here soon. Azurbala, which is the expanded project of Jenkins the Valet, who is an IP company, and they have been relatively quiet during the bear market, but they just dropped an article and explained all the new things that are going to be coming out in the ecosystem. I'm a big fan of this project. I thought they've done some unique things in the space, and they've brought on some really talented people from the Web2 world to help them do that. So let's go ahead and dive in and to see what they're doing. But first, this is a preview of some of their PFP art that they showcasing on Twitter. They dropped PFP art months ago. The community absolutely shitted on all of it, and they took it away, and they said, we're going back to the drawing board, and we're going to create some sick art, and they ended up doing much more than that. But this is the new art that they hinted at releasing here, so I think it looks 10 times better, and excited to see the rest of it. But a little breakdown is nailing the profile picture art, which we are really excited about rolling out here soon, developing a long-term plan for building a new IP franchise. They have specific intention for that, setting the pathway to ensure every step we take is cohesive, building from the ones that came before it, and ensuring that they build dope shit with the community. But they are confirming that the quiet period is over, and expect Jenkins and Azurala to be more active moving forward. All right, a couple more things for the project. The only way to get an Azure root, which is the mint pass to get the PFP, is by burning a Bored and Dangerous book NFT, which was their first Jenkins of LA NFT drop, which was actually a book in partnership with New York Times bestseller. They utilized the IP of different Bored Ape Yacht Club holders to put in the story. Super cool concept. But you'll have to burn that original NFT to get the mint pass to get your PFP. They did talk a little bit about Marrow, which was supposed to be their token. But they're also saying there's going to be 5 competing factions. There's going to be a whole storyline to this. But one of the interesting things is that they've hired top tier talent to help them bring this to life. One of those people is former creative development and franchise producer for Star Wars at Lucasfilm, Diana Williams. Also, doesn't stop there. Head of story at Tally Labs is Emma Nadell. Sorry if I said that incorrectly, but she has previously written The Waterman on Netflix, which was executively produced alongside of Oprah Winfrey. So they got some big names here to do the jobs that they will need to really take this into something bigger than what it is now. What I found interesting also was that the Marrow token is the strategy there is sort of changing. And they said there will begin as a points system, not directly a crypto token or an ERC20 token. With regulatory uncertainty and scrutiny in the U.S., we believe this is the most prudent route, while also allowing the most flexibility to still explore a crypto token, Marrow, over time. We know that the regulatory scene here in the United States has not been easy, and a lot of the companies have to postpone a lot of the stuff that they want to do like this. And they also said Jenkins is no longer in Azurbala, and Azurbala is separate from Writer's Room. So originally Jenkins was going to be a big part of this story, and now he's completely out. They're 2 separate projects. To recap, Azurbala is an expansive Jungle Book franchise. They're prioritizing focus on the Azurian identity and community. Marrow will be begin as a points system, and they hired some big names, and Jenkins is no longer in Azurbala. So shout out to Azurbala. I think they put their head down. They went to work. They got the feedback from the community, and they're releasing the things that they have been working on. So I'm hoping for them to succeed. William Shatner has entered the NFT scene, and I took a screenshot of some of the perks of owning a William Shatner NFT, and this is what it is. 1 out of 1,000 NFT holders will receive a 15-minute one-on-one Zoom call with William Shatner. 10 of 1,000 will be eligible to participate in a 30-minute group Zoom call with William Shatner, and 1 out of 1,000 will receive a physical item signed by William Shatner. 50 out of 1,000 will be eligible to receive a recorded voice message from William Shatner to use as an outbound greeting on your phone. I know there's an app for that, but I guess he's offering it only to his NFT holders. So I think that celebrities and just big personalities will continue to explore the NFT scene to get closer to their fans and provide perks and exclusivity. Just makes sense. The founder of Pepe, Matt Fury, who also owns Chainsaw, which is a sort of like an art collective online in Web3, announced his new project, Zogs, and the pre-sale started, I believe, yesterday. And if you want to buy the full set of 100, I believe it's 100 different characters, If you buy all 100, you can buy them all for 1.234 ETH. The first look at this is that it's complicated. There's a lot going on here. There's a pre-sale, there's a flash sale, there's an after the flash sale, and there's a Zogs family Pepe drop, there's a burn, there's a Zogs burn, Pepe burn, full send, Zogs family burn. I'm getting anxiety just looking at this, and as much as I love Matt Fury and what he's created, and I'm excited to see what he builds out into space now, with all the resources that I'm sure helps from Pepe's popularity. There's a lot going on here, but if this is all you, then the pre-sale is still going on. It was open for 72 hours, and he'll be, I'm sure, creating some game theory and connecting all these things for us. So look forward to that. Let's jump into some NFT news. Incoming, Sotheby's burst. Sotheby's is doing a metaverse drop, which with a lot of the popular and most exclusive crypto artists in the world, as you can see here, X Copy, Tyler Hobbs, Claire Silver, a lot of the big names, Sam Spratt, and they're also launching their own marketplace along with it. So it's going to be fully on chain. They're going to have a 2.5% fee like OpenSea. Artists' royalties enforced on the marketplace smart contract level. Highly curated and defend and promote artists above just offering a marketplace. So cool to see Sotheby's doubling down on Web3 and metaverse crypto art. Big news from Artifact. They're onboarding LeBron James. As you can see here, he is rocking one of the Nike Artifact shoe drops. As you can see here, Clone X, at his recent playoff game versus the Warriors. Pretty big. This is Artifact created a one-of-one Clone X for LeBron. He's holding the frame here. We all know LeBron is a Nike athlete for life. He signed a lifelong contract. One of the very few athletes to do that. So the fact Nike brought Artifact, and LeBron is a Nike athlete, is not too surprising to see this. But you love to see that because we know LeBron is probably the most well-known basketball star, not sports star on the planet. Meebits got an update. We know Meebits was bought out by Yuga Labs, and they said it's our second birthday, and our mood is hype and a little dazed and kind of spicy. So, and they're giving you a new way to bring your PFP to life. So if you own a Meebit, you go to the website. You can give it different moods. You can save it and it updates the display. So these are actual videos where you click on the mood, whether it's hype, dazed, spicy, and they'll change their personality based on what you choose. So really cool for the Meebits. Shout out to Bryson where he says Disney just partnered with Web3 gaming company Cryptoys to launch Star Wars digital collectible toys. They look kind of cute, I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Corporate Trash where he says that the details are $39.99. You can buy, I'm sure, with crypto and card. 15 different collectible toys. You can buy them at this website May 24th. So Disney is getting crypto toys. I think has an incredible platform. We've talked about them before, and they're going to be bringing in a lot of that kind of toy IP side of things into the Web3 world. And it's really bringing a digital version of toys in a way I think we've never seen. So excited to see that. Degentraland, he works for Horizon Labs, and he says it's happening. Don't say I didn't warn you. So apparently Horizon Labs is now a strategic advisor for Onwin Force, which is a sort of like an anime-ish NFT project, which was super hyped when it dropped and then just died. But there's been some restructuring there, and now they're doing some big strategic partnerships here. So keep an eye out for that. Pudgy Penguins. We are proud to announce that WME will be representing us as our official talent agency. And together with WME's relationships in film, TV, and gaming, we will focus on strategic partnerships that help Pudgy Penguins reach the masses and new audiences. So shout out to Pudgy Penguins. I know they've been working hard, and Luca, the founder, has been working hard at bringing the IP to life. They're dropping toys this week in certain stores, so shout out to them. That's all we got for NFTs, but let's jump into let's jump into some crypto news. Shout out to Adam, where MSTR, which is the ticker for the company MicroStrategies that Michael Saylor owns, they just released earnings this week. And it says, not looking good for MicroStrategy, who now confirms they are overextended and cannot cover their own debt interest, have suggested that even sales of Bitcoin may be on the table to service the debt. It says here that operating loss, even backing out impairment charges, Coin is fronting cash for Bitcoin buys for them. They're bleeding cash and dumping shares. And shout out to TXMC, where he says something similar. MicroStrategy's income is not enough to pay their debt. Heaving cash, admit they'd have to sell assets. Capitulation odds are rising. We know they are the number one holder of Bitcoin in the world. If they had to start dumping Bitcoin, it could have a significant impact on the crypto market. Not sure if that's going to happen. But again, like he says, capitulation odds are rising based on the numbers. So just keep an eye on that kind of thing. And this is the MicroStrategy stock chart. As you can see, it's not doing too much right now. So the news is obviously not impacting the price just yet, but things can change very quickly. Shout out to Coinbase. Today, Coinbase launched Coinbase International Exchange, where they will begin by offering Bitcoin and Ethereum perpetual futures settled in USDC, which Coinbase owns with Circle, and with up to 5x leverage to institutional clients in eligible jurisdictions outside of the U.S. We talked about this last week. Due to regulation, Coinbase is going to be launching things outside of the U.S. And then there's a startup on Bitcoin that just raised $17 million called Fedi. It's a new investment to build Fedi, the world's first federated operating system. And they're about to release the alpha version for builders and pioneers. So it's a place to kind of have your digital community, create a federation, invite people, chat, send money, and do your kind of thing. Sounds like a Discord for Bitcoin, but maybe I'm not into it that much. But I checked their website out, and it was a basic chat with some crypto integration to send and ask for crypto and stuff like that. Su Network is a layer 1 blockchain that's designed to make digital assets ownerships fast, private. Of course, there's always an Ethereum killer, but they just debuted its mainnet and token launch. It went up 13x from the pre-sale price, but I think now it's back at around that price, or now lower. This is pretty big news. Stripe is introducing a Stripe-hosted fiat to crypto on-ramp and unlocking the waitlist for the embeddable on-ramp. I know we've talked about there's not been enough on-ramps that are user-friendly in the crypto space in America. This could be a big one. So pretty big news. They're going to allow you to buy crypto. Hopefully this allows more companies to offer different ways. That's all we got for you. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Web3 Weekly Alpha. I'm your host, Serpunk, and I will see you on next week's show. Please like and subscribe. Coming at you live from InnerSpace Orlando. You guys have a great day. Peace.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1. Hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream. Now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems. Topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up. Surfing on the web.